Offensively, the best Devils game in a bit. They scored 3 times, but they gave up 4, and they lose to Winnipeg by a score of 4-3. As we welcome you back to the Devils post-game show. So the losing streak is now at 4. You don't get anything out of playing well and losing, but this was their better game of their recent stretch.
Oh, absolutely, Matty. You know, the first period was very solid. They kept their brain in it, Matty. They made sure they didn't give anything up defensively, or not much. I mean, you're always going to in a hockey game. And they just waited and got some scoring chances, and we actually went up 3-2. I thought that was going to be the difference. I thought if they can just get the lead, it'll help settle them down, and then just kind of feel good about their game. And I don't know what the coach is going to say. I mean, they got to feel kind of good. They did a lot of wonderful things, but they got like 3 bad bounce goals against them, and that's another thing that will hurt. So I don't know, Matt. What can you say now? They did score. I'd like to see them get more than 3 because they seem to need that to win. But they are playing much better, but I don't know why they didn't win. I don't know, really. Do you?
Breaks went against them,
Okay.
and Devils weren't able to get to a bunch of loose pucks that Hellebuck popped out. And then they had a chance at the end to tie it, which we'll get to as we play back the highlights, and they were unable to do so. And so the Devils travel to Winnipeg for their only appearance here in Manitoba, unless these two teams meet in the Stanley Cup final. But right now it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And it was a scoreless first period until 16:41 when Arseny Gritsuk was called for interference. Colin Miller went off, not to return. He injured his left leg on the play, and it was a power play for Winnipeg, but the Devils killed it off. And Chico, in your mind, how long does a power play exist beyond the 2 minutes if you kill it off as your players coming on to join the play?
Yeah, if he's not in the play, I would say 10 seconds.
Well,
right?
Yeah. Well, 9 seconds
okay.
after the power play came to an end, Winnipeg jumps out in front. Puck played around. Sandberg finds Niederreiter. Center shot goes off a stick. Blocked away by Allen, but then they poke it home.
I follow.
And Winnipeg takes a 1-0 lead. Bounced around. That was a theme. It wasn't a power play goal, an even strength goal at 18:50. Iafalo's 8th of the season.
And how close it was to being disallowed. The Devils coaches and tried to, they thought it might have been off his foot, and it kind of was off his foot, and he swung on it. Just a terrible break for the Devils and Jake Allen. But unfortunately, that was something that was going to happen more than once.
Went off of Shimon Nemitz as well.
Oh, yes, that was going to go wide. That's right, Matty.
Yeah, and it was 1-0 Winnipeg. But the Devils didn't collapse. They didn't sag. They sprung back, and they were led by the captain 37 seconds later. Here's a puck in loose, and they score. The Devils have tied it up. Nico Hischier pokes it past Hellebuck. 33 seconds go in the period, and the Devils have tied this at 1. Hischier's 13th of the season. Luke Hughes, Jesper Bratt with the assists. And unlike in Pittsburgh, where Sheldon Keefe said after Pittsburgh, the Devils had the power play, they didn't score, but then they didn't look at Connor Dewar, and he came out of the box and scored. He said you could feel it on the bench, the sag. There was no sag there. Devils come back next shift to tie it up.
Well, you know, if you're desperate, Matty, you can't let a sag affect you, and it didn't.
And so into the second period we would go, and the patrons were just settling back into the seats when a local kid made it 2-1 Devils. And now it's Jack with the puck, back to Luke.
Oh!
Puck in front, they score! It's Cody Glass taking the pass from Luke Hughes. He goes backdoor, and the Winnipeg kid comes home, and it's 2-1. Nice homecoming for Cody Glass, his 8th goal of the season, 1:05 into the second. Luke Hughes with his second assist of the game. His brother Jack picks up the secondary assist. Devils have a nice lead.
And it was a skill goal, and that makes you feel better because the net was kind of behind him over his right shoulder. So when he got the puck, he had a spin and to hit maybe 2-3 feet of shooting area, and he did that, and things were looking good.
Unfortunately, the good fortune would not last very long. Another crazy bounce a minute 31 later. And talking about hometown kids, Glass born in Winnipeg, so too Jonathan Toews, playing for the team he grew up cheering for, a 15-year career in Chicago, winning 3 Stanley Cups, going to the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. But he returned off long-term COVID issues that kept him out since the 22-23 season, the end of the 22-23 season. And he scores his second in as many games.
Yeah, I know, and I'll tell you later what else he did, but let's go with that for now.
But that one bounced around, too, and he was able to just knock it home.
I know. Things are, I guess they weren't falling for him, or the puck wasn't liking him before the last game, but the last 2 games, the puck says, hey, I'll find you if you don't find me, and we'll go in the net together.
And now, less than a minute later, the Devils regained the lead. Yeah. And it was Jonas Siegenthaler blasting it into an empty net because Connor Hellebuck was out of position. But why was he out of position?
Well, Paul Cotter, if you're looking at the net, he's coming from the left. He's going to go through the top of the crease and go to the back door. But he's got to squeeze. I think it's Morrissey and the goalie. He kind of squeezes between them, but now he's in the crease a little bit. And his left skate hits the skate of Hellebuck. I don't know if it had anything to do with the goal, because I don't think Hellebuck would have got back in time anyway. But when the officials looked at it, they said, yeah, that's goalie interference.
So the goal was pulled off the board, and the game remained tied at 2, and it stayed that way until a little over 8 minutes had gone by in the second period. Out high it goes. Gritsuk with a shot that deflects wide, and DeMello will chip it free to center ice. 11:59, loose puck on a dump in, and Jack with a shot. Shoulder save made by Hellebuck, and then they score. Cody Glass with his second of the game. And we will hear from Cody in just a bit. Jack Hughes and Johnny Kovacevic picking up the assist at 8:08.
Yeah, some sweet things were happening this afternoon. But I might turn sour. I don't know.
Well, it did. Late in the second period, here came the Winnipeg Jets as they tie it up. Gabe Vilardi with his 18th. Puck goes far side. Morrissey in deep, spins away, comes out to the top of the far circle. Now dumps it off. Here's Perfetti moving in, has it on the backhand shot, and it goes in. It bounces around and rebounded home. And we're tied at 3. Bounced off of everything, animate and inanimate objects.
You're right. Vilardi was trying to go. He was going to go, if you're looking at the net from the left side, so he's going to go all the way to his right. But you know what? Cody Glass is going to cut him off, but I just found out, I just watched it. But Jonathan Toews, he didn't pick him like it was obvious. They ran into each other so that Cody can't get on Vilardi. He just keeps going to his right, off the post, off the back of the goaltender, and it's a goal. But that play by Toews is what set it up.
Yep, Vilardi scores his 18th of the season at 17:57. Crazy how these goals were scored in this game. And so into the third period we would go. Jake Gallen, he's going to take the loss, but he's going to say, Lady Luck was not on my side. Made a save here, though. Nemitz can't get it past Lowry along the near wall. Lowry banks it to Morrissey, goes cross-line. The one-timer saves the rebounds in the crease. They dive for it. Niederreiter and Allen, and it's Allen, I think, who keeps it out. He did, and Brendan Dillon, the ex-Jet, came up with a big drill job on Niederreiter.
Yeah, I mean, it was just that kind of night, Matty. There were so many situations going on that you couldn't really predict not only who was going to score, but how they were going to get the puck in the net.
And for Winnipeg, a team that had been reeling, winless in 11 until winning against Los Angeles on Friday, they were looking for the tie-breaking goal. The Devils were looking for the same, but it was their fourth line that came through. Here's Morrissey. He's in deep centers. They score. It's Pearson with the goal, and the Jets have taken a 4-3 lead. Killer.
Well, Pearson, he hasn't been playing that well. He got picked up in the free agency late in the summer. But then he gets position in front of the net and scores his 6th goal. And he was just because Jake Allen tried to block the pass because it was down the goal line with his stick, and if he had gotten it, it would have been dead. But he just missed it, so then his stick is out in front of him, not between his legs. Goes to Pearson. Pearson's being bothered by Heischer. He just whips it in through the legs. Game over.
As a 4-3 lead went Winnipeg's way. Devils would pull Jake late in the game, trying to get the equalizer. Oh, boy, this is the play of the game. Brought to you by Prudential, the Devils' official financial services partner. Now it's Luke, long-range shot, hit a body in front. Jack in the corner with 22. Plays it in front, goes off a stick to the near corner. Myers pass blocked by Morrissey. Loose puck grabbed by Heischer. And it's drilled as he gets it to Meyer. Time now, down to 10. Heischer with the puck behind the net. Gives it off to Jack, bottom of the far circle. Back to Heischer. Now to Meyer, in front it goes. Oh, it's shoveled wide by Gritsuk. And that will do it as the horn sounds. The Devils had one last chance. Come up just short. And Winnipeg skates off with a 4-3 victory. And that was the play of the game, brought to you by Prudential, the Devils' official financial services partner. I don't know who was hanging his head more, Arseny Gritsuk or you sitting next to me.
I was yelling because, folks, you got to see it. He's got the puck there, those split-second things. And he's got pretty nice hands. And he's got to go to his left, and he shovels it, Matty. And he missed it, and, for a young kid like him, if he scores that goal, do you know what that means to the team, to him? His just so much riding on that shovel shot, and unfortunately he missed it.
No, and the Devils lose by a score of 4-3 on a day when Johnny Kovacevic and Evgeny Dadonov return to the Devils lineup. We will hear from Kovacevic in just a moment, but let's hear from the man who scored 2 goals playing in his hometown, Cody Glass.
How sort of maddening is this to sort of have a game where you have 2 leads and to concede them and just be at this point again?
It sucks. Obviously, I thought we were playing good hockey, and then third period we got away from it. The first and second period we were putting pucks behind them and playing with the puck in the yellow zone, doing the right things, and then we got away from that in the third. And that's kind of what bit us. Well, it sucks, but you have to play more consistent hockey.
Is that something they were doing to you guys, or was it a matter of you guys doing it to yourself in the third period when you talk about, things changed there?
Did it to ourselves. I think in the first 2 periods we did a good job of getting over their skill guys, not giving them any plays. Obviously, stuff happens during the game. There's going to be an odd man rush, but with it, we bounced back from that. But in the third, we just weren't making the right plays, not the right reads. We weren't connected. But, the second period we did that. And that's why it's frustrating that it went away in the third. And
I would imagine that it's even more frustrating just knowing what you're capable of when you do play that way. Right?
Exactly. Like you see it, it looks fun, and it feels fun when you're out there. And then when you go through like what we just did, it sucks. You're tired. You have no momentum. It's shitty. So that's all I can really say about it.
What do you guys say to each other right now as this starts to extend?
I mean, we've said a lot to each other. I'll kind of keep it to ourselves, but we've done a lot of talk. But I think it's just getting back to having a smile on our face. Like, yeah, it sucks, but we need to have fun. Like, you can't come to the rink and just be negative all the time. Like, it just kills you. And, we're a good group, and we have to believe in that.
On the other side of things, you had a performance in your hometown that probably got some excitement from your family, your friends who are here. What was it like scoring those goals here in the city you grew up in?
It's nice. Like I said, playing in front of my family is always a dream come true for me. I'll never take playing in the NHL for granted, especially in front of them. So, I've dreamt of playing the Jets or just being here. So, it's a dream come true, and it sucks not being able to win in front of them.
And that is Cody Glass, and understandably, that is his feeling. You score 2 goals, that's nice, but it's in a losing effort. How does the game get away from you like that? Like Connor Brown talked about it, the connection in the first period. Cody talked about how it was in the second period, and then it wasn't there in the third. Is it something that Winnipeg is doing? Is it players too anxious to get out of the zone and that's just enough for a pass not to connect? I'm just curious why, hey, this is working, but let's stop doing it.
Well, and you want to be more cautious, right, Matty? You're tied going into the third. I get it. But if we broke down still some of the scoring chances the Devils had in the third, you wouldn't be saying they just changed the game. But the rebounds being kicked out by Hellebuck were incredible tonight. And then Gritsuk at the end, if he shovels that in, No, I mean, it wasn't a big departure from what the Devils had been doing. But enough about me. How many minutes did Jack Hughes? I know he had a terrific game.
Well,
today.
season high, 27:04, and by far his best game since returning. Now, he picked up 2 assists, didn't have a goal, but he looked forceful, dynamic. Still, there were times when the stick handling still wasn't perfect. He's still battling that injury. He was only supposed to return yesterday. That was the time frame for the return. He's been well ahead of pace, but 4 shots, 3 were blocked, 3 missed the target, but 27 minutes of ice time. That's the Jack Hughes we want to see more of.
Yeah, that's a good sign. You're right.
And Johnny Kovacevic in his return, 14 of ice time. He had 1 shot, 2 missed. He was credited with a hit and also 3 giveaways, 2 block shots. I thought overall, considering he hadn't played since April, very good.
And he said it. He liked what his game was at the end of the second period, and he didn't do anything wrong in the third either.
We're going to check in with Johnny, and then we'll hear from Sheldon Keefe. First, though, the Devils defenseman as he spoke with the media.
Covey, results aside, just wondering how you feel sort of getting back in. I know it's been a long time. I'm sure the legs felt a little at the beginning there. How are you feeling?
No, it's obviously so great. Finish the game, be healthy, be in one piece, and just on a personal note, that was amazing to just feel that feeling of playing again.
And it really just looked like you and Siegs basically picked up where you left off, and we talked about it yesterday, just how valuable that is to be able to jump in with him.
Yeah, no, it's huge to have Siegs. I mean, he's a rock back there. I'm glad it looked like that. At the beginning, it took maybe a couple shifts for it to feel like that, and I think as the game went on, I kind of found my calm, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, as the game went on. Some good plays, some bad plays. That's just part of hockey. Too bad we couldn't get a win.
We talked yesterday about your perspective that you've had, which is maybe a little bit different than the guys who have been going through the grind here because you're watching from the outside. Now that you've been a part of at least one game here where you guys concede, the lead twice in this game, what perspective do you bring to this from that outsider perspective that you've had?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a game of momentum. I thought in the second we had looks, we had our chances. Scored some goals, but couldn't, left some money on the table, and then they kind of took the momentum back coming right after that intermission in the third. It's hard for me to say right now. It's like a good takeaway because it's obviously a lot going on for me, so hard to analyze this soon after. And you know what, we as much as it sucks to lose, we got to focus on next game. That's all that we can control right now is how we come out to play tomorrow.
Do you bring a bit of a chip on the shoulder coming back to this rink at all, or is that much in the past?
To be honest, I love it. I don't know if you'd say chip on your shoulder, but I had such amazing times with the Moose. Played my first NHL games with the Jets. So no, the organization means a lot to me. I know last year we played them shortly after I had signed an extension, and everyone on their side, coaches, GMs, congratulated me. I wouldn't say I have extra energy, extra motivation, mainly because of the good times that I had here.
And that is Johnny Kovacevic, always grateful and always a thoughtful response. I assume he'll play tomorrow. I mean, back-to-back off a long absence, but unless he tightens up or is feeling some pain, we'll know tomorrow. I would think he's back in.
Yeah, and that'll be an interesting turn of events, whether he's in or they put Dougie Hamilton back.
That's tomorrow against Minnesota. Before we wrap things up, let's hear what Sheldon Keefe had to say to our friends at Madison Square Garden Networks.
2 different points in today's game. Just wondering if you can speak on maybe some of the defensive lapses we saw that allowed the Jets to hang around in this one.
Yeah, too many. Whether it's just soft around our net or losing structure at key times, just not good enough. Did enough good things to put ourselves in a position to win, but too many mistakes that hurt you defensively. It's hard to win like that.
Well, Sheldon, ultimately you need the W, but you got a game tomorrow. You scored 3 goals. This is the first time you guys done that in 4 games. Do you have to focus on the fact that you were creating some offensive chances and you were finding the back of the net? I know Orsini misses a wide open cage, but you get 3 goals today. trying to look for some positives?
Well, I mean, we've been searching for positives for a while and embracing those. We did have one that came off the board today, too. So, offense wasn't an issue. For today, we had more than enough to win. But it's just another example of why we got to keep preaching the process and the defensive structure, defensive play, awareness, physicality, competitiveness around our net, like all these things, that really haven't been talked about or haven't been that prevalent. Today, when we're in a position to win, we're exposed. I thought we had some guys that had real tough games here today that have made some plays that could really cost us.
It looked like you were talking to the ref after that goal that came off the board that you just mentioned. What did they explain to you, and what did you kind of see in that moment?
On the goalie interference one?
Yes, correct.
I mean, I didn't get an exact explanation, but I believe what they're looking at there is Cotter's foot kind of getting in the way of their goalie's ability to come back across the crease. So, those are tough ones, but those are kind of the margins. We also had two that we put in our own net again tonight. So, that's the way it's been going.
Just your thoughts on Covey getting back in. We were just talking. He said took a couple shifts to sort of get his legs, but what did you see from him here in the first game after a long, long layoff?
Yeah, I thought he was solid. He looked confident.
Thanks, Sheldon.
The weariness apparent in Sheldon Keefe's voice. I mean, you come close, but you still lose. Again, you're judged on wins and losses, and the Devils fall 4-3. And I guess if you think back on some of the goals, they were crazy bounces, yes, but they were all in the crease, basically. And that's what he's talking about. Somebody's got to have that jam, like Brendan Dillon did when he cross-checked, Niederreiter. Somebody's got to, just got to tie up the guy.
Well, if a guy can go inside a foot or two outside the crease and have his stick loose, that's not going to be good. That's never going to serve you well. And he said a couple guys didn't get that job done around there. We're not going to mention names, but a little surprising because we want to have that hard edge, and where that hard edge really begins, Matty, is in front of the net, and then it works out.
Yeah.
So they gave up 2 goals tonight, the Devils did, by not having that hard edge around the crease.
And they lose by a score of 4-3. They'll try to get right against the Minnesota Wild. That's a game on Monday night and a game you'll hear here on the Devils Hockey Network.